Good morning. Welcome to Flamingo Key at your Toledo Zoo. We are here for our hashtag Zoo Open Online daily Facebook Live feed. We, as always, appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Today is going to be all about flock talk. We're talking about our flamingos. So these guys are enjoying some of their first times out for the season, and we're going to learn all about them and all the other birds that are in this exhibit with them. And as you can hear, they have a lot to say this morning. So as we are getting everybody in here, let us know who's here, where you're watching from, and we'll give some shout outs. Hi, Alex. Hi, Barb and Brittany. Hi, Ann. Hi, Mom. Always got to get the hi moms in there. Kathy misses the zoo. Kathy, we miss everybody too. Good morning, Easton. Hi, Max. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Good morning, Rebecca. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Theo, William, and Marcus. Hi, Tina. Hey, Hazel. Good morning. Hi, Leslie. Thanks for tuning in. Hi, Kathy in St. Clair Shores. Hi, Lucas and Whitney up in Monroe, and Joseph and Henry in Temperance. Hi to Kai in Defiance. Hi, Leah. Oh, Leah's teacher's favorite animal is the flamingo, so this is going to be her day, huh? Hi, Ulrich. Hi, Sarah. We can't wait for people to come visit either. Hi, Zoe and Theo in Michigan. Oh my goodness, for Theo, William, and Marcus, it's only 7:30 out in California. That's a true good morning wake up. Hi, Athena and Kaden. Hi to the SEAL team. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hi, Karen and Ciara. Hi, Sam, Charlotte, Amelia, and Emily. Hi, Wesley and Andy. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hi, Harold and Eileen. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started this morning. As we did on Monday, we're taking part in the Governor's Spirit Week today, supporting your school or team. Obviously, we are all Team Zoo, so we've got our zoo gear going on today. And we hope that you guys are showing your spirit out there too. And thanks for tuning in each weekday for our hashtag Zoo Open online live feeds. We're moving all around the zoo, trying to show you as much as we can about what's still going on here while you guys can't be with us. So we appreciate it very much. And we've been asked to let you know that our Meals on the Go program has just exploded. And to keep up with the demand of more than 100 meals each Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to have to start cutting orders off at noon so that everybody has a chance to get them prepared and get them ready for you guys to pick up curbside 4 to 6 each Tuesday and Thursday. So once again, you have until noon to get your order in for chicken or beef, enchilada casserole, or stuffed peppers this week. And of course, the menu changes each week. Check in to see what we have for you next week. Don't forget, Cinco de Mayo. I'm sure we've got something fun planned for you. And those margaritas, oh yes, don't miss them. All right, and our education virtual offerings, they're always changing. They're always adding to it. They're like us, moving around the zoo, showing you different things, answering your questions, giving you tips and tricks, how to do some gardening, how to train your pets. Check those out at toledozoo.org/virtual. And of course, we hope you guys all saw our social posts about Jupe Mode's Here for Good t-shirts for your Toledo Zoo Quarantine Crew 2020 shirts. I will say, if we had them, we would love to show them to you. We would all wanted to be wearing them today, so we can't wait till we can get them. But go check out our social post, has a link to how you can get yours. Half of the proceeds come right back here to your Toledo Zoo, so get t-shirts for your whole crew. All right, I think that makes it through all of our morning announcements. As always, there's the donate button there on your live feed, and you can always go to toledozoo.org to continue helping your zoo during this difficult time. But right now, we're going to turn it over to Stacy, one of our bird keepers, to talk to us, do a little flock talk. Talk to us about our flamingos.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Flamingo Key. We're actually going to talk about one of my favorite birds this morning, and that is the Caribbean flamingo. Another name for the Caribbean flamingo is the American flamingo, and they get their name from where they live. They're found in the Caribbean, on the Caribbean islands, the northern part of South America. They have a population in the Yucatan in Mexico, and also on the Galapagos Islands. The American flamingo is actually one of the largest flamingos. There are 6 flamingo species, and these guys are one of the largest, and by far they are the most brightly colored. So when you see these really crimson, like red, really deep pink birds, these are your Caribbean flamingos. We have 28 here. We have 16 females and 12 males.
Very cool. All right. And before we get too far here, we have to give a shout out to Peyton. She is 5 and flamingos are her favorite. So we can't go too far without saying, hi, Peyton. Thanks for joining us. And if you have a question, be sure to have Mom type that in for you. We're happy to answer all of them.
Wonderful.
All right. So who else is in here with the flamingos?
So we, as you can see, the large birds behind them are called Dalmatian Pelicans. We also have a pair of emperor geese right down here in front. We have white-fronted geese, Baird's pochard, which is a type of duck. Way in the back, we have our coot, which is our resident mud hen.
Yep.
So like to represent our mud hens here in Toledo. We have red-breasted geese over there. We have black-backed gulls, and then we have our white stork,
who's hanging out up there on the rooftop.
Yes, he's busy nest building, and they're from Europe. They nest in Europe, and they winter in Africa. And if you Google them or look up pictures of them nesting, you will actually see the white storks nesting on top of buildings and homes in their breeding range. So it's just kind of ironic that that's where he chose to build his nest up there.
That is so cool. All right, we've got all kinds of questions. Alex wants to know, what temperature is it where we are? So we are outdoors here in Toledo.
Yes.
And it's mid-50s.
Yeah, today.
Out here.
Today it's about mid-50s, and although we do associate flamingos with warm weather, they can actually handle cooler temperatures. We can keep them out. We give them access to indoors, but around 32 degrees, around freezing. There's a flamingo species that's actually found in the Andes, and they get cold weather, they get snow. So even though they look a little fragile, flamingos are actually very hardy birds. And of course, they can take the warm temperatures.
Absolutely.
As well. Yeah.
And Zane wants to know if they all get along.
Well, flamingos are extremely social birds. They hate to be by themselves. We never separate one to be by itself unless we absolutely have to. And even if we have to separate one, we usually have a buddy. But they are constantly bickering and constantly pushing at each other. So they do get along. They absolutely love being together. They need to be together, but they do have their little squabbles.
Absolutely. And Roland wants to know, how do they get their color?
So that is such a great question. So flamingos, when they hatch out, they're like white, fluffy, downy feathers. They're totally white. And then when they're a few weeks, about 6 weeks or so, they start getting in gray feathers, and they are all gray. But then slowly they change to the pink, and it's 100% through their diet. So flamingos eat algae and brine shrimp and different things that have this carotenoid pigment in them. It's a big word, but basically it's a pigment that turns them red. And just we eat things as well that have that pigment. So like when you eat your carrots, they have this, you're eating the same pigments that the flamingos are eating in order to turn red. So they totally get their red color from what they eat.
Very cool. And Theo wants to know, can flamingos swim?
Absolutely. They have webbed feet, just like a lot of other aquatic birds. They do swim. They're more of a wading bird. They do wade out quite deep into the water with those long legs, but yes, they can swim. They paddle through the water, and they actually will feed while they're swimming as well.
All right. And Layla, age 6, wants to know, are flamingos endangered?
So no, they are not. They're doing well currently, but there are threats to habitat loss in the wild. But currently, the Caribbean flamingo is not endangered.
All right. And yes, Rachel, of course we will do a birthday shout out to Bennett. He is 8 today. Happy birthday, Bennett.
Aw, happy
Thanks
birthday.
for tuning in today. We hope that you enjoy the flamingos on your birthday. All right. Mia wants to know, why do they stand on one foot?
So it takes less energy for them to stand on one foot. It's actually very comfortable and easier for them to stand on one foot. It also can conserve energy and keeps them warmer. So when you see them tucked up with their heads tucked and their foot up, it actually conserves energy and keeps them a little bit warmer. But today is not a temperature, but that is concerning, but that's how they're most comfortable at rest.
All right. And Rebecca asks, can they fly?
Yes, they are great flyers. They can fly very fast. They can fly up to 40 miles per hour. They have even recorded them flying in a day up to 300 miles.
Wow.
So yes, and they have a very, you can pick them out in the sky. Not that they fly here, but in the wild, they fly with their heads out and their feet back. So they're very distinctive in their flight.
Oh, that would be pretty cool to see.
Yes.
I bet we could Google that one and
Yeah.
see, or YouTube it to see. That would be something cool to see, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So Morgan says you just said that they get their bright color from eating shrimp. What would happen if they ate something else? Would they change a different color?
So no, their biology is set up that if they did not eat the shrimp, they would actually be very pale and turn kind of a gray-white color. But no, they are not set up to turn a different color. So if they ate blueberries, no, they would not turn blue.
All
At least
right.
not that I'm not aware of any that have turned any other color. But they will lose their color and be a white-gray if they do not eat the shrimp.
Okay.
Here at the zoo, and we feed them a pelleted diet. It's kind of like your dog food, and they actually put the pigment into this. So they get an artificial pigment that we feed to them that keeps them, they're brilliant, beautiful.
And
beautiful
how much
pink.
of that do you feed out each day?
So Daniel, how much?
They get about a cup and a half per bird.
About a cup and a half per bird. Daniel is currently our main keeper here of the Flamingo Key.
We'll come over so we can hear you.
And he was going to help us out today, and he was going to toss some of the Dalmatian Pelicans some fish, because although they are the largest bird out here, and they're actually the largest pelican of all the species, they are very skittish, and they know their keeper, and they get very attached to one person. So he was just later going to try and toss them some fish for us.
All
So
right. Well,
he's
we
here
will check
hanging
back
out
in
with
with
us.
you then. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And Caleb and Grace would like to know, how do you tell the difference between a male and female flamingo?
So it's almost impossible.
Whoa.
Yes, the males by average are larger. They can be about 5 feet tall. They actually weigh a little more, up to about 9 pounds. So the big guys you see here are the males, and then the females are typically smaller, but it can vary. You can get some males that are a little smaller and some females that are a little bigger, but typically the males are bigger.
And Sue asks, where is their knee?
So their knee is actually up further into their body. So when you see them actually bending their leg like that, you are actually seeing their ankle. So where their little knob is, where they bend it back, that's their ankle. So they actually are walking on their tippy toes.
Oh, yeah.
So this from the webbed feet up to that ankle area is all it's their whole foot. They're walking on their tippy toes.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, so that's why they don't actually bend the wrong way. They're just built different.
And Carlin asks, why are their legs so long?
So that's a great question too. They are a wading bird, and the length of their legs allows them to wade deeper into the water than other birds that wade into the water, and then they can take advantage of that food source that's a little deeper into the water.
And talk to us about the calls that we're hearing here.
So they're very social, and that's just a way of keeping a social group together with the calls. A really interesting thing with flamingos, when they do have babies, at about 5 weeks old, they'll form this large group called a creche, and the baby, and there's like thousands of them in this creche, and they are protected by the other adults. And the parents will still feed their babies, and they recognize each other from the calls. So it's just a way of keeping contact, and it's just a very social event to call back and forth.
Very cool. And we're getting quite a few questions. Are there any babies?
We do have babies. So last year we had 3 chicks hatch in July, and they are very distinctive. They're in the back there. We have 3, and then we have also a baby that was born 2 years ago, or hatched 2 years ago, and it's 3, or it'll be 3 in July. And she actually is very hard to tell apart. Her beak isn't quite as bright pink at the base, and she still has a few gray feathers on her neck, but she's very, 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 very close to being fully adult color. But yes, we do have babies, and the babies we hatched out here at the zoo, we had the pleasure to be able to hand rear them, which was a lot of fun. They're very social and they like being with the keepers, but the best part is when we do introduce them back into the flock, they actually do take to the flock, and then they don't want anything to do with us. But that's good, because we want, in the end, that's what we want. We want them to be flamingos and be with who they should be with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And CJ wants to know, how tall do they get?
So they can get to be about 5 feet tall.
Oh my goodness, that's as tall as I am. Wow. Cool. All right. And Owen wants to know, do they like snow? Have they ever experienced snow here?
They don't. They do get a little snow. We don't keep them out if we have a heavy snow, but it doesn't seem to bother them if we get a light snow. As long as the temperature is warm enough, we can keep them out.
All right. And Lucas wants to know, how did they get the name Flamingo?
Well, that's a very, very good question. And I think it's based from their color, something to do with flame, and I'm not exactly sure, but I know their genus is based on like the phoenix. It comes from that, so it has to do with maybe the color of their feathers.
All right. And Sarah and Mary both want to know, what do they eat?
So they eat algae, they eat shrimp. They're omnivores, which means they will eat both plant-based and meat-based. They're pretty opportunistic for whatever they can get in their bill. They eat shrimp, mollusks, seeds, algae, insects. They actually have, flamingos are unique almost in every way. So they actually have a very unique bill as well. So if you notice, the top of their bill is smaller than the bottom of their bill, which is opposite for almost every other bird. And they use that bill to scoop up things like mud in the water. As you can see, they're just kind of, skimming through, and they'll sift out the mud and the water and keep the things like shrimp, that kind of things, in their bill. And they use their tongue to pump out the mud and the water, and then they keep their food that they find.
And talk to us about how they eat underwater.
So it's fascinating. So when they are in the water, a lot of times I've seen videos where they say they're dancing, and they will sit there and they will move their feet up and down and go in a circle, and they'll have their beak upside down in the water, and what they're actually doing is stirring up the bottom of the lake or pond, and then they're sifting out all that food that they can grab up as they are dancing around.
That is so cool. And Cassidy needs to know, do they sleep standing up on one foot?
They do, actually. Yep, you'll find them like that. They can lay down as well, but that's just a very comfortable position for them.
And Luke wants to know if wild flamingos migrate like other birds.
They do. It all depends on the availability of food and the availability of their ponds. They nest in very, very alkaline, salty areas. It helps to reduce predators, that kind of thing. But they don't necessarily have to migrate far, but they will migrate to find the right habitat for them.
And how many flamingos do we have here?
We have 28.
And what was the breakdown again?
There are 16 females and 12 males.
All right. And talk to Kyler about the white birds in here.
Okay, so those are our Dalmatian pelicans. There's 8 pelican species, and they are the largest of all the pelican species. Now these guys in part of the range are critically endangered. So these guys are endangered. They're just fascinating. Pelicans in general are fascinating. They also have a very unique beak, as you can see. They scoop up their fish, their prey, in the water, but they can hold up to almost 3 gallons of water in that beak. But they do pump all that water out, and then they also keep the fish that they get and eat that. So Yes.
And they are called Dalmatians, not because they have spots like the dogs,
Right.
but because of where they're from,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And that is if I'm remembering correctly, it's the Dalmatian coast off Croatia.
Yes. Very good.
Yes. Trivia for today, folks.
There we go.
All right,
Nice.
Josh would like to know, what kind of treats do they get?
So really, their favorite foods are fish. The pelicans and the flamingos, they try and find things in the water, but mainly they just get their pelleted food. It's the best nutritionally for them, and it gives them what they need. They do find little snacks. This usually in here, so we're coming on breeding season, and every day this gets wetted down and mudded up. So this will eventually become extremely muddy, and flamingos are kind of unique in they build their nests out of mud. So both the males and females will participate and build these mud towers. Basically, it basically looks like a really big bucket of sand, like when you do a sandcastle that you've tipped upside down, and then they just perch their eggs right on top of that. So
That's so cool.
yeah, so it's if in the summer, come and see. You will see different mounds here.
Awesome. And Trenton wants to know, how old do they get?
Oh, they can, in the wild, they actually can live up to about 40 years, and in captivity about 60. So they're quite a long-lived bird.
And Kennedy wants to know, do they move around more or just kind of stand here like they're doing?
Today I think it's just a little chilly, but they'll move all over. We'll see them in the water. They're usually quite active and moving around in this area, especially when they start nest building. So today I think it's a little quiet time right now.
And that's okay too. Everybody needs that, right? Audrey, age 7, wants to know, have you given them all names?
No. So the majority do not have names, but the 4 chicks that we have hatched out here, so we got them in 2014, our flock, so they're fairly new. And we've only had 4 chicks that hatched out, and all 4 of those chicks do have names. Our very first one, the 3-year-old, her name is Coconut. We call her Coco. And then the 3 that hatched last year, that one right there actually, her name is Tad, because when she hatched out, the keeper, Cynthia, she noticed that she sat with her legs kind of like a frog. So her name is Tad. And then we have a DJ because he was really big. So he's named after it's the Rock.
Love it.
Because he was huge.
Love
And
it.
then we have in the middle, it's PETA, it's PITA. And that's kind of a private reason for that.
All right, cute. And that leads right into Brinley's question of, why are some of them a lighter pink?
So exactly, yes. So they are young and they just have not fully colored up. It usually takes about 4 years to fully get their full pink feathers. So these guys are only a year old, the lighter ones. So by the end of the summer, they'll even have more pink. And definitely next year, they'll almost be really hard to tell apart from the other ones.
And Nathan asks, Stacy, what's your favorite part of your job?
Oh, well, to be honest with you, I've had the opportunity to hand rear a lot of birds, and I really enjoy that. I really enjoy working with the babies, but just every part of it. I love birds. I've always loved birds, so it's just great every day to be able to come into work and be able to work with birds. So.
Yeah, if you guys can't tell, she really does love birds. She has her own homemade
That's right.
flamingo mask she's sporting here today, too. We love it.
Gotta have some fun.
And Stella wants to know, she's looking at these geese in front of us. Why do they rest their head on their back like that?
So it's another way to stay warm, and it's just comfortable. And yeah, they can tuck their beak in, and it's just a way to stay warm.
Very good. All right. And Brinley also asks, why are their necks so long?
So the same thing, they can wade deeper into the water, and that way they also can go deeper and feed off the bottom. It just enables them to feed in different areas that many other birds can't.
And Elena wants to know, can they lay down to sleep?
They can, yes, they absolutely can. They normally do not, but they can, yes.
And Ava, age 8, asks, why do the pelicans like to be with the flamingos?
That's a very good question. I'm not exactly sure. They, like to be social as well, so they just like to be with other birds.
And Emily asks, are there any spoonbills still in this exhibit?
They are not. It's a little chilly for the spoonbills. We still do have spoonbills, and they will come out later in the year.
All right, so something to look forward to there, Em.
Exactly.
All right, and Isabel asks, how much do they weigh?
So they can weigh up to about 9 pounds. The females are a little bit smaller. So yeah, it's not too heavy, but that's pretty good for a bird.
Yeah. And she also asks, how big are their eggs?
So their eggs are about 3 inches long, and they have one of the most interesting eggs I have ever seen. So being able to work in the incubation with a whole bunch of different, eggs. We have a ton of different birds, seen probably 100 different kinds of eggs. These guys have the most unique egg I've ever seen. It is covered in a thick chalky layer. So when you hang on to it, it's actually kind of rubs off on your hand. You'll have this chalk on there. And the reason for that is because they do nest in mud, and then little mud nest. And if the egg became caked in mud, then it would harm the chick inside. So that chalkiness enables the mud to flake off. And so it won't come encased in mud. So it's just really, really interesting and unique. I've never seen an egg like that before.
And do both parents help raise?
Yes.
Would it be incubate the egg?
Yes,
or?
They help build the nest, they help incubate, and they also help feed so you can kind of see a little bit of nesting building right there.
Yes.
Yep, they're starting.
Very interesting.
So yes, they both take care of the chicks.
And you've told me before they use their beaks to help roll the egg?
Yeah, so all birds need to roll the eggs. It helps keep them healthy so they don't adhere to the sides. And yes, all birds have to roll their eggs throughout the day.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Layla, age 6, asks, how long is their wingspan?
So their wingspan is about as tall as they are. So the birds that are about 5 feet tall have about a 5-foot wingspan.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and Wyatt has obviously been watching some of our previous ones because he wants to know if, like the red pandas and the penguins, do flamingos paint?
No. I mean, they are capable. We have, no. It'd be very stressful for them. And they do have such long legs. We just don't want to take the chance to have them hurt themselves.
Understandable.
Yeah.
And Elena, age 8, wants to know if they sleep in the water.
I don't know if I've ever seen them actually sleep in the water. That's a very good question. So that one I'm not 100% sure. They must, because in their breeding grounds they stay in a very large body of water, so they must be able to sleep in water, yes.
And Simon, age 4, wants to know if they eat birdseed.
If they came across it when they were filtering out their food, yes, they could absolutely eat seed. We do not feed them birdseed here, but they might find little seeds of different plants around the exhibit. But they are capable, yes.
And we have to say hi to Emma. The flamingos are her favorite to visit when she comes here to the zoo. So hi, Emma. We hope that you can come see as my one friend, little girl, calls them, the Mingos soon. Come see the Mingos.
That's great.
All right. How long are the chicks in the egg before it hatches?
So the incubation period for flamingo eggs is about 28 to 30 days. So they will sit on their eggs for almost a month, about a month.
All right.
And they hatch out.
Let's see here. Avery says she loves and misses her zoo. How do you catch them when they need a checkup by the doctor?
So what we like to do is we like to get them into a smaller area. So you can see the area over there that has the fenced in area. We will corral them into there. And then we're able to get a few inside, and then we will just catch them up inside. It's just a smaller area, less chance of harming themselves. So
and how often do you have to do that?
We don't do it very often. If we notice an issue, we will definitely, contact our vet department here and, catch up a bird if we need to. But usually it's just when we bring them in at the end of the year. We do have to corral them into there because it does get a little bit too cold for them here.
Sure. And Spencer, age 9, says, how much shrimp do they have to eat to get their color?
So it's basically about their whole diet. So quite a bit of the shrimp they eat to get that color.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Daniel, do we think we should try this?
All right, Daniel's going to try and throw our pelicans some fish.
All right.
We'll see.
Stacy's going to talk us through what he's doing here.
So just like if you had watched the the Facebook Live on the penguins, our birds that get mainly a fish diet have to get a vitamin fish.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a good way to medicate. Oh, look at him. Oops. It's also a good way to medicate the fish. Oh. So they get a bowl of fish every day, but we try and hand toss one fish to each a day to make sure they get their vitamin fish. And we're here today, so usually it's just Daniel, so
a little different circumstances happening here.
And they can be a little bit skittish.
Absolutely. But these Dalmatian pelicans are amazing creatures. Talk to us about how big they are. That was an awesome catch. How big are they?
They can be up to about 35 pounds as well. So yeah, I know. They're a very heavy bird.
Yes.
They're very solid.
And how long is their beak?
That's a very good question. I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to measure one.
All right, we'll have to check it out there. Oh, this is very cool to see, though, because we're getting to see them actually catch it and how they swallow it. That's really cool.
Yes. So.
Oh, my goodness. Very fun.
They're doing really well for us being here.
Absolutely. Yeah. We threw a big wrench into their routine here. So you guys are getting to see quite a treat. This is really fun. As he continues here, talk to us a little bit about some of the other birds in here. I love it. You said we have a mud hen in the back.
We do have a mud hen in the back. We have different species of geese. We have the emperor geese. We have the red-breasted geese. Some of those are offspring that we've had here at the zoo as well. We've got the black-back gulls over there. What else? I think that's... white-fronted geese we have in here as well.
All right.
Yeah, and then again, we'll have more birds as it warms up.
And is that a...
Oh, and then that's the white stork over there making that noise.
Okay, I was going to ask you if there was a woodpecker, because it very much sounded like a giant woodpecker.
That's the bill clapping they do to make that noise.
Wow, that is cool.
Yeah, so he's a male, so he will not be having eggs, and we currently do not have a female. But he keeps himself busy with nest building. He will sit and...
Hey, he's doing what he's supposed to, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Right. And yes, Tony, good point. It is Spirit Day for the Governor's Spirit Week, so yeah, go mud hens when they get started back up. Yeah, that was a good point. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Perfect.
Oh my goodness. How much fun is this, you guys? Joshua and Jennifer say we can't wait to go see them.
Aww.
Well, we're excited, and we hope that we get to welcome you guys back here very soon.
Yes.
But until then, stay tuned each day with us. We are here Monday through Friday doing Facebook Lives, moving all around the zoo. And we're going to leave you today with Daniel tossing some fish to our Dalmatian pelicans. A little extra treat for everybody today. So thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.